Hello everybody.
Good morning. Talking today about this subject to a large degree makes us feel vulnerable, but simultaneously we feel that it is important to talk about it, and that we want to talk to you as fellow travelers on this journey, because this is actually a team effort. It's not something that we can do alone. So when we talk about support in whatever form that may be, it takes place against that backdrop.
Yeah, and I think when we think of support, our minds goes first to money, and I think that's what makes it so difficult, is that we have a very bad relationship with money, really. I think it's also from our upbringing, and the whole idea that money is the root of all evil, asking for support, asking for money. There's such a lot of emotions around that, of a feeling of not being able to take care of yourself, or all of those triggers. So it really, it's sort of a difficult thing to talk about, especially putting yourself out there like we are doing now.
Yeah, and we were thinking of doing that for a while, but hesitating to a large extent. But then, through the advice of friends and family members who are familiar with our situation, who really encouraged us and said, this is something that you have to do, because the work that you do is so important. And what exactly do we see as our work? We love doing our crafts. We love doing handwork. And it is really a joy that can be part of our living here at Barrowfield. It's not as if it's a burden. But what has happened over the past few years is that the crafts and that work of ours became so important in generating an income that it placed a huge burden on us. Because actually the main focus of the Restory is to create a space where people can come to rest, where they can recuperate from whatever life circumstances they come from, but also as a space from where we can stimulate talk about the contemplative tradition, do things that enhances that, run retreats that's also in connection with that. So that is our main focus, and in whatever way we can, working on a change in consciousness.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's what makes it so difficult, is that we actually decided consciously to not begin the Restory from some base, some church base, or some organizational backing, because we felt that we wanted to be ecumenical, and even more than that, we want to be totally inclusive and be able to have a lot of freedom of movement in terms of the material that we want to present to people. So from the word go, we actually decided to go it on our own, but it's becoming more and more difficult. And like George says, we are having to work harder and harder at our crafts in order to make a living, in order to be able to carry on living here. And then a lot of things fall through the cracks. A lot of our sensitivity towards people, a lot of our writing doesn't come to the fore. We struggle to have the content that we would like to offer people.
Yeah, because not only do we have to work on our craft in the sense of generating an income, but living in the old farmhouse, where the farmhouse functions as our retreat center as well, it's not as if we live in a private homestead where you can overlook something that is out of order. We have to keep it in shape all the time so that we can accommodate people. So the upkeep and maintenance, that take in a lot of effort and time as well. So we are divided in terms of time, in terms of our energy, and it's a fact that we have to realize is that we're not getting younger. So often our bodies feel the hard work that we have to put in, and we have to be realistic around that as well.
Yeah, I think in terms of the content that we would like to offer people, it boils down to having to ask for support in buying us time. Because the harder we have to work at our crafts in order to live here, the less energy and the less time we have for writing, for building retreat programs and all of that. So because it's a fact that we can only accommodate so many people and reach so many people by having them come here, but that we can actually put out a lot of information in the days that we're living, that people can have access to, and that we more and more feel would be the way to go.
Yeah, and I mean, the mere fact of promoting yourself, in other words, writing promotion material and so on, even that takes time. And we don't have that time.
Social media.
Yeah, and we don't have that time.
Yeah.
Another important factor is often people in a crisis, a life crisis, or some sort of a turmoil, or whatever you want to call it, they are in need of a space like this, where they can step out of the hustle and bustle of daily living, where they can discern what they have to do, or whatever the case may be. And from experience, we know that often people in such a difficult life situation, that situation has a financial impact on them as well. So they need a space like this, but they don't have the money to afford a place like this. And that's tragic and a big irony, actually. And we want to create a facility that is accessible for people in whatever situation they may be. And in the past, we've subsidized people coming to the Restory and who are in that situation in whatever way we can. It also happened that family members sent somebody and they paid the bill for that. So it happened in the past as well, but we want to stay accessible. And by merely generating our own income, we don't succeed in doing that, because we struggle to survive even in terms of our own needs.
Yeah. So I think just in terms of how people can get involved, and you can maybe talk about the options of money, but also just in terms of volunteering, we would be able to offer you a bed and food, but to come out for a day and maybe help us in the vegetable garden, or if you're good at maintenance or stripping old wallpaper of walls, we would love to expand, because I mean, if we can expand and accommodate more people, of course we would be able to have a bigger income from that, and that in turn would help us to make a better living here. So even in terms of volunteering your time, that could be very helpful.
And we're also busy drawing up a wish list for the Restory. In other words, items that we are in need of. We've received a lot of help in the past, and we're so grateful for that. It helped our work so much, but there are certain things that's really important to...
Yeah, and that we really don't have the money for, that we
Yes.
can't afford to get ourselves. I think we also feel that at this stage we do have a bush cutter, but it's broken and we can't really afford to fix it. So,
and it has been broken,
and it
has been fixed before.
Yeah, it
and,
has been fixed, yes, and it's getting to be actually to the state that you would need to buy a new one. So also in terms of we don't need new things, but we do not actually have the money to fix things that doesn't work. So if we can be as bold as to ask for working things,
yes, yes.
that will be very helpful. But then maybe in terms of monetary help, you can...
it can be done as a once-off donation, or if it's possible to do on a more regular basis, on a monthly basis, to do donations in that sense.
Even maybe if you know somebody that needs to come on retreat and that can't afford it, to subsidize somebody coming on retreat.
And when we put this request out there and our need, it's also with the idea that you go through your own discernment process as to what you can help with, what you can offer. It might be that we don't have all the answers or the solutions to that, and you can come up with something. But besides the talk of this morning, we're also putting our needs on the blog, giving some background, so you can have a look as well, and we are going to give the banking details there should you want to make a donation.
Thank you. Yeah, I was not looking forward to this talk, but it
no, but I think it is important.
Yeah, no, it is.
Especially also through the encouragement of so many people who said you have to put your needs out there.
Yeah, it motivated us.
The work has to carry on, and for that to happen, you need support. So thank you that we can do that, and that you are part of this journey.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Keep well.
Keep well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.